Hi Kickstarter, I'm Angela, and I want to tell you our story about how we came up with the idea for the plot of Vicky's Wish. When Alex was a little boy, he had a really clear image in his head from a dream he had, and has stayed with him ever since then, of this house on a hill with a light coming out of one of the upper rooms of the attic. And from that very clear image, we came up with the idea that maybe it was a star that had fallen from the sky and landed in an attic, and this child finds the star. So from that, we developed the character Vicki. Vicki is named after Alex's mother, and Vicki loves space, and she's a very shy and nervous girl, and she has a lot of fears, especially being afraid of the dark. But every night she goes to bed and she wears her star and moon pajamas, and she looks up at the moon, and she just wishes she could someday get to the moon. So one night there's a shooting star, and she makes a wish on the shooting star and goes to bed. She wakes up a few hours later with a loud noise that happens in her room, and she's afraid, and covers her head in the blankets, and she doesn't want to go find it, and then finally she gets the bravery, and she discovers the star pixie is in her room. And the star pixie shows her around and shows her that there's nothing to be afraid of in the dark, and then takes her hand, and they float up out of her window, and she goes on an adventure with the pixie around the world. So they go to a deserted desert island, and then to Paris and the North Pole, and see the Aurora Borealis. And with each place, Vicky's braver and braver, and she's more independent, and this adventure is really bringing out a good part of her. It's getting near the end of the night in their adventure, and Vicki realizes that the star is going to have to leave soon, because when the morning comes, then that's when the stars go to bed. So she knows her night is almost over, and she still hasn't gotten her real wish. And the pixie sees what her true wish is and takes her by the hand, and they float higher and higher into space until they land on the surface of the moon. And there's magical moon dust, and she finds a moon rock, and she leaves her footprint on the surface of the moon. And Pixie takes her home after this great adventure, her greatest night of her entire life, and she knows that she'll be back, and he curls up beside her on her pillow, and they go to bed. And the next morning Vicki wakes up, and she sees that the pixie's gone, but she has the moon rock in her hand, and she knows that she'll be back to the moon, and she knows that it wasn't really a dream, and she knows that she's now a braver person for having done that adventure.